Just did all of that with them.
Passion public service announcement. Passionate. Let me tell you something.
So what is this Passion PSA podcast? Who am I? Well, they call me Passion, short for passion, no last necessary. Why is there no last name necessary? Because the first name says it all. I am Passion and all that embodies. What do I do here? I give you the life coaching that you know you need, but don't enroll yourself in. When did I start? Actually, 2017. I'd leave a PSA on my Instagram regarding something I'd observed, and now we've evolved to this. Why do I do it? Why not? If even one person is able to take away one thing that changes their life, someone else's life, or changes the world for the better, then I've done what I was charged to do. So come on in, sit and listen for a while. There's something here for everyone at the Passion PSA podcast. Greetings and salutations, my beloved Passionate newcomers, visitors, and guests. Welcome to another episode of the Passion PSA podcast, where I passion no last necessary. Your get you right guru issue a weekly public service announcement about whatever I have observed or was on my mind. This is a for your consideration zone where the objective is to offer you a perspective you may not have previously considered, to both expand your thinking and to get you to a better version of yourself, for yourself, and for others. This is a safe space, but not necessarily a delicate one. I will never rob you of your right to feel how you feel. Same way, I will not sugarcoat anything it is I need to say. We got another guest today, ladies and gentlemen. Are you excited? I am. So I am going to bring them in the room shortly. I wanted to take a moment and do some quick affirmations, make sure that the vibration is as high as it can possibly be. And then after that, I will be coming back in with our guests. I'll sign off with the guests and then I'll see you next week. My voice is necessary. My words have power. I create what I speak. I am intentional with my words. My message is valuable. I understand that my life is someone else's lesson. I understand that what has happened has purpose. My life has purpose. I live on purpose. I operate with purpose. I speak with purpose. I write with purpose. I show up ready to be accountable. I show up authentically. I show up. I am present. I am welcome. I am grateful. Ashe, ashe, ashe. All right, beloveds. So I'm going to bring my guest into the room. I'm going to allow him to introduce himself. We'll talk about how we've met, and then we'll get straight into it. So with no further ado, let us welcome ILLA GHEE. Welcome, ILLA GHEE, to the Passion PSA podcast. How are you, beloved?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm grateful. I am present. I'm super grateful that you are joining us today.
Yeah, I appreciate you asking me to be on here.
Yes, absolutely. So I would like for you, I never like to give intros. I like for my guests to introduce themselves, tell the audience as much or as little as they want the audience to know about them. So if you don't have a real time limit, so tell them what you want them to know.
My name is ILLA GHEE,
yes,
rap artist, the incredible mathematics of rap, and Brooklyn, New York, Galactus, ILLA Godzilla, vocabulary Hercules. That is I.
That's it? That's all you want to tell them? You don't want to tell them that you were a producer, a director, a cinematographer,
I'm pretty sure that
host?
It'll come up down the line.
Okay.
Yes, I do. I direct. Do you see it? New York Minute.
New York Minute.
There you go. Director, writer, actor, artist, podcasts, whole sorts of stuff. That's it. excuse the ghetto violence outside.
Listen,
I do live in the ghetto.
Listen, these are the sounds of New York. These are the sounds of New York. You're either going to accept it or you're going to accept it.
Right. It is what it is.
So ILLA and I met when ILLA was looking to do a scene for New York Minute, and ILLA cast me in one of the roles, and then we were discussing a spinoff, but there were so many different things that were taking place at the time, and there were so many factors, and so we were not able to go forward with it at that time. But he and I were constantly talking behind the scenes of different things that we're going to work on together, whether it's music or other shows or his podcast, my podcast, whatever. So I had to have ILLA on because we were having a conversation behind the scenes, as we so frequently do. And we were talking about the voice. And if you all remember, we have talked about the power of your voice. We actually talked about that. My internet connection is not unstable. Y'all better get it together. Optimum.
That's right. Get it right. Tell them again.
Like, because what we not going to do is embarrass me in front of company.
That's right.
So we were talking about an upcoming project that he has coming up in the latter part of the year. And we were talking about how this was birthed and how it came to be. So ILLA, I would love for you to share with the audience exactly how you came upon this and why now as opposed to any other time, because you have how many different bodies of work, first of all? Just musically.
Musically, I think I put something out. I think I have like 12 albums or something like that. I don't know. Who knows? Who's counting? Just music.
Just music? Just 12 albums? That's it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Something light, nothing big, right?
Yeah, it's just songs.
These are the people I know. Super humble. Super humble, like they haven't done anything major. Me, I'll be over here struggling, be dumb proud when I make 2 songs. Like, I said it, y'all, I have arrived. This man got 12 albums, but in any event. So how did you get to this place now? Because this next body of work, what does that entail? Or are you not ready to disclose that to the public?
No, this right now, for years, for those who have followed my music, for years, I just kept it what they would call emceeing.
Okay.
And I would touch on topics here and there, but I never really indulged into many topics because of my past, which is I was, very into street life and so on and so forth. So I really didn't know how to express it because of when I was younger. Like years ago, a friend of mine, he was, I guess, starting to manage or, a rapper named Cannabis.
Okay.
And so, me and Cannabis rhymed for hours in East New York, Brooklyn. And the things I was saying, one of my cousin's friends, bless my cousin soul, he passed away. Okay. He pulled me to the side and was like, yo, you saying a little too much.
Okay.
Like, you're going to get someone killed. And I was like, really? He was like, yo, you revealing a little bit too much secrets.
Okay.
So I was like, all right. So I pretty much changed it. So I just kept it emceeing. So then I would start saying, like, my rhymes would sell drugs or my words will do this to you and beat you up and that. But no one heard that. Okay. All they heard was drugs, rhyme, gun. That's it. They didn't hear my words, my flow, my style. Right. So I started getting labeled like gangster rapper or whatever. So I was like, I don't know how they not understand this. But down the line, like I said, I would touch topics here and there. But now, it's kind of like a therapy. I'm learning to tell my truth without, just how I felt about certain situations that I can talk about. Okay. So I'm learning how to express myself that way and still be lyrical at the same time. So I feel good because at one time I dumbed it down and I hated it.
Okay.
Oh my God, I hated that thing. It was killing my insides to be that dumbed down. But, You have to learn the difference between song and emceeing. You have to separate the two sometimes. And, now I'm getting to that point of expressing how I feel on certain topics, and I like it. It's pretty much therapy for me now to express these things. So that's where these more recent projects have been going. Um, People, I don't know if they understood, but I had a project out called The Whole Half of It. I can't tell you the whole thing, but I can tell you the whole half of it. And that was pretty much about my street life. And then, fried apple juice and Jesus and better drugs. Yes.
Yo, these names are.
Yeah. I'm learning that my people who dig my music, they look forward to these crazy names. It all started with Angel Dust and Waffles.
Okay.
And they went, to me, it stood for good food that drives you crazy. So that's how you come up with that.
Okay. All right. So that's some lyricism in and unto itself, because it takes a lot more thought to interpret that. And so the average person, they're not thinking very deeply, which is why going back to what you were saying about, you're saying that it was your flow that's doing this, and it's your music that's doing this, and it's your words that's doing this. And people only heard what they wanted to hear, because people often only hear what they want to hear, and will then double down on it and try to convince you that, no, that's not what you meant. What you meant was this.
Right.
Which is always interesting, that I didn't know you lived inside my head to be able to tell me what I meant, but okay.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So yeah. Where was the turning point where you felt that you found your voice, or you found a delivery method or mechanism that allowed you to speak freely, but more tactfully? What was there something that happened in life? Was there something that happened when you were writing one day? Did you start going to therapy? What was the turning point?
Just sitting thinking how I can get better, how I can be more relatable to the people who dig my music. Okay. A lot of people wanted to know my background. I never really expressed my background. I never, got into that. I'm a real big fan of feeling that the street life shouldn't be put forward.
Okay.
Big fan of that. But, yeah, I know it sells. Yeah, I know I can talk real reckless if I wanted to, but I just don't feel it should be out front like that.
So here's a question, because there are a lot of artists, and I've said it a couple of times. I don't know if everyone is privy to that information as yet, but that there are artists all over the place right now who they're making what's selling as opposed to what's in their heart, because they're chasing the money. Mm-hmm. And they really don't want to promote or promulgate anything that glorifies the negativity, but mm-hmm. that's really what the machine wants, right? The machine wants them to put out the more negativity, and keep the people on a lower frequency, and keep them in their root chakra, and all the lower level, all the more base things. That's where the intention is to keep them. So do you feel now that in this shift, do you feel that you will appeal to a broader audience, or do you feel like you just wanted to expand to the audience that you already have?
Yeah, I just, if you enter my world, I just want to pull people into my world and understand what I've been through.
Okay.
If you can relate to certain things that I've been through, I see things different. I do things different. I just, if you understand it, hopefully you'll get it.
Okay.
So
well, for somebody who's outside of that world, how would they relate? How would they be able to digest it? Excuse me. How would they be able to digest it or dichotomize it so that they can say, I have a clearer understanding, and now I feel like I could engage in discourse with this person?
Yeah, I mean, how I put it I think of the topics first, and some things they're not going to get because they didn't understand that life.
Okay.
I have a song that I recently wrote called Why Me?
Okay.
And not everybody is going to understand it. Now, the purpose of Why Me is like pretty much saying to, a guardian angel or whatever is watching over me, why did you stop me from ruining my life? Because there's so many that they let it happen to. And I really tried to ruin my life quite a few times.
Okay.
And, I just picked 2 incidents that happened and, explained them. And for a person who probably been through it or been close to it, they will understand like, yeah, why am I still here when so many friends and family has been murdered, killed, locked up, so on and so forth. And, why me? What am I here to explain, to express, to go forward with that I was chosen to be this? So, for people that listen to it, they will understand it.
When you wrote the song, did you feel like you got an answer as to why you?
Oh, I pretty much think about it quite often.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got an answer like, years ago. There's a lot of times I think about it and it's like, sometimes you got to have what I call a by yourself meeting where you chill and just think about things and reflect that things that you've done. And you just kind of get it like, wow, like you really was throwing bricks at the penitentiary, brother. Like you gotta, what I'm saying? It's like you're still here and you can express and do things and create teachable moments with other people. So that's what I feel.
So that's really dope. Do you feel that you would ever expand, being that you're creating these teachable moments, do you feel like you could ever, or would you ever desire to expand to advocacy, like specifically directed to redirecting youths from the street life, or maybe not even so much the youths, for those who grew up in it, so this is the only mentality that they've ever partnered with? Now they're 21 through maybe, let's say, 27 or even 21 to 30, and they're still engaged in this because this is all they've ever known. Would you ever consider doing some type of advocacy to reach out to them to say, nah,
Absolutely.
bro?
Absolutely. I gotta finish it. I've actually been slacking. I have I guess a series called A Beautiful Lie.
Okay.
It comes from a song I wrote. A Beautiful Lie is about the streets.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? No one never seen her face. No one never seen her shape, but everybody loves her. Everybody want to be in the streets' face. She lies to you and tell you she loves you. But when you get locked up, the streets don't write you. Not once have the streets hugged me since I've been home. Not once did she write me. So I made the series A Beautiful Lie to get parents to speak to their kids because of, the way things are set up for us, you know, uh, with women's lib and so on and so forth. If my father is at work and my mother is at work, who's raising the child? The television. And or you're being alone, or the father's out the house or so on and so forth. And parents are tired. Parents coming from work, and some parents are working 2, 3 jobs to make it. And they really not creating a relationship. I love my mother. I know my mother loved me, but my mother never explained anything. Learning about her past, I'm learning that my mom was a fighter when she was a teenager. Literally. Like, she had an attitude problem. Like, you couldn't say nothing to her. Everything was a fight. She hid it very well, as, I never, not too many seen it like that. But,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? She was tired. She never explained her plans. So after a while, I kind of felt, I was a burden. So I needed to help out. And, I chose street life. And that's not the thing is, what I'm saying? Explain to you, talk to them, explain to them, tell them that you can't buy that right now. or this is the reason why, because they, you don't want them to feel like I did, like, I don't want to feel like a burner. Include them into the plans. Tell them sometimes you have to learn how to shut up with and listen to what I'm saying. And it's just, it's bigger than just clothes or whatever. I know, kids and so on and so forth, things are cruel. They don't understand. They look at the short term, not at the long term. And you have to express that and get them to understand. So if they understand how you move, they'll move with you. Instead of feeling like, oh, I need to help, what I'm saying? Everybody has to think, I need to help moms. I need to help mom. I need to help, my parents. They work so hard. And, sometimes you rush it and you choose the wrong path. Well, that's a whole deeper conversation, but yeah.
Listen, I got time for deep. I got time for deep. This is what we do here. We get all the way into it. So you can go as deep as you like, because this is the space for it. I always tell my audience, this is a safe space, but not necessarily a delicate one. You're going to get what you get. And if it hurts your feelings, that's okay. You're entitled to that. But you're going to get the real. So you don't have to like me, but you'll never say, oh, well, she lied to me. And this, and for my guests, we try to keep the language as clean as possible. But outside of that, it's to make sure that people are getting an authentic message.
Right.
And I think that what you're saying right now is super significant, because there's definitely a turn in the tide. There's definitely a shift where I think that there are more parents who are making the attempt or taking the initiative to be more forthcoming with their children about some of what they're navigating. And even if it's not to be forthcoming about what they're navigating, just to have more conversation. And I think that is so essential, because anytime people feel left out, they go looking for somebody that will include them.
Right.
So if you're not going to talk to them about what's going on, then they're going to go and talk to somebody who will. And that person may give them all the wrong information, and then you're mad at them for taking it, but you're not mad at yourself because you didn't engage with them. So I think that's a really superb series. So is that going to be, that's an in-person series? That's an online series? How is that?
Yeah, it's on my channel, ILLA GHEE TV. It's called The Beautiful Lie.
Okay.
And I think I did like 6 or 7 episodes. I started from why I entered the street and all the things that I've been through, and what, after thinking about it now, being older and surviving it, what the lesson I learned in that situation.
Okay.
And I promote parents to speak to their kids every episode.
Do you do those episodes solo, or do you have guests on?
Solo.
Okay.
Solo.
Would you ever consider having a guest on that?
Sure. Always. I probably think about it in season 2.
Okay.
To think about having guests on there.
Okay. I think that would also be dope, especially if you had a parent who has a child who's currently conflicted and, showing signs of the behavior that they're probably headed toward a path that's not going to serve anyone well. I think that would be dope to have that conversation, and for you to act as a mediator, because you can hear it on both sides. You can hear it. You're a parent, yes?
Yes. Okay. 2 boys.
Yes. So you can hear it as the person who wasn't being spoken to, and you can hear it as the person who needs to deliver the message. So I think that's a dope thing. So you said you have a channel. Yes,
ILLA GHEE TV on YouTube.
Okay. And so on your channel, you also have a podcast?
Podcast. It's called Thought of the Day.
Thought of the Day. Okay. What do you talk about on your podcast?
I'm keeping it simple for now. I'm just keeping it hip hop and sports.
Okay.
And just basically talk about what's going on in the world of hip hop.
Okay.
And sports. I ain't talking about no other teams besides New York teams.
Okay.
So, any other teams, any other state, I don't give a yap about you. I'm not going to talk about it. Yes, I'm an avid Knicks fan, and yes, I curse the Knicks out constantly.
Constantly?
Right. So that's what, just, different topics of what people doing inside the hip hop community, as we move forth and, people grow in this genre of music.
Okay. Okay. How many seasons into your podcast are you?
Oh, this is the first season. I'm about to put out the second episode next week.
Okay. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
What made you decide to get into the podcasting space?
People say they like my voice.
Okay.
Say I have a good voice and they say I'm knowledgeable and I speak about things and my opinion.
Okay.
So
this is a safe space to celebrate yourself. So you don't have to make that small. People say they like your voice, say that. They like my voice.
I mean, they say, I mean, I don't understand it, but hey, whatever. I sound like me to me. So.
Right. But often we sound different to ourselves than we sound to others. And so we're not really aware of the impact that we're having on people.
Exactly.
So let's talk about New York Minute.
Let's get it.
What inspired you to write this particular show?
One, I got a smart mouth, and I seen a web series.
Okay.
And I thought the web series was trash. And I was like, I can write something better than that. I was like, the hell is this? So running my mouth, and I know, you can't talk mess and not do nothing about it. Then you sound like a sideline person. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna write one myself. Okay. And so, I remember picking up a book in jail, and it was about writing characters, how to write characters. So I kind of started with that. Started thinking about all the shows I do like that I watched inside there, which is, all the shows that had a lot of foolishness going on. I was a very avid watcher of Young and the Restless. Almost beat somebody up behind Young and the Restless. As a serious thing. So then once I came home, just started looking a few things up. And I was like, all right, well, let me tell somewhat of my story. Mm-hmm. And, while I was in there, I learned that, it's a trap. It's a game. And, there's pretty much no winning. And I would be a fool to keep going and wind up back in there. One, I like women too much to be in there. Oh, God. Oh, I'm about to curse. Okay. So, I just started writing, and I came up with an action drama. And, I learned to make it the premise of the show is change and how hard it is to change in a hostile urban environment. I understand that. I came up with 5 characters. You have Deuce, Simone, Trav, Frizz, and Moss. And Deuce, basically, he was a terrible person before he went into jail. Mm-hmm. Pretty much a snake, didn't matter. But he learned what he learned in jail, and once he came home, he's trying to make everything right, all the wrongs that he did. But he'd done so much that, a bone could fall out the closet at any given time with him. Simone is looking for love. Her and Deuce were together since high school. Deuce actually paid for her to go to college. She is an underwriter. But the only thing is he's too into the street. And, that's an issue. Trav has a family secret that he has to protect. Basically he was abused as a child. So, everything that he cares for is his sisters. Don't do nothing. Don't touch his sisters. That's the beautiful thing in his life. Frizz wants to be a millionaire, has no clue how to do it. Mm-hmm. He just chases a dollar. And Moss is adopted, and he's trying to connect with his family. Mm. And so that's how all those characters came about. And, they're learning things and they're going through changes.
Okay.
and they're trying to handle these changes. And, to be from New York, it's a very, a very well saying that things can happen in the New York minute.
Mm-hmm.
And vile, that's how you get New York minute.
Okay. All right. So now with Deuce wanting to make these changes in his life, when you started to develop these characters, especially Deuce, would you say that could possibly be part of the turning point in where you found your voice, or where you were able to shift not so much the narrative, but the delivery of the narrative in your own music? Because
Not
Zeus
really.
doesn't want to go back to the streets and behave this way or that way. He went and reformed himself, right, when he was locked up. So now he's on a different path. Now there's a different mindset at play. So would you say that was a contributor, or separate and aside? And do you keep your worlds all separate? Like, do you keep your music world separate from your film world, separate from your advocacy world?
Pretty much I try to keep everything separate. At least I think so. Try to keep everything separate. I can tell more. I feel I can get away with more in the web series than musically.
Okay.
For some reason, musically, it just feels like telling. In the show, in a web series, it's entertainment.
Part of the story, right?
Yeah, it's TV. So you could sneak a lot of street jewels in there and everything in there, and things that I'm trying to say, trying to teach people without really teaching people, and entertain them at the same time. So.
So now, what was I? It was a question I had. What was the question? It just left out my head. It was a good question too. What is your opinion? What is your position? What is your take on hip hop as it is being presented today?
There's nothing wrong with hip hop being presented today. We have to understand hip hop and rap is two different things.
Okay.
You're probably talking about rap. Rap is the business side.
So the reason I specifically said hip hop is because depending on what you're listening to or where you're receiving your information from, right? Everything seems to be grouped under this umbrella of hip hop. Now, what I acknowledge as hip hop is not necessarily any of what's on the airwaves right now. 90% of these artists, I don't know who they are or what they talking about. And I'm not interested in finding out what they talking about, because it's like whatever was released on the airwaves, if it sounded like some pupukaka to me, I'm not interested in hearing anything else from your body of work. So the rest of it could have been a masterpiece, but I'm already turned off. So trying to go and dig for the jewels is too much work for me. So when I say hip hop, I'm talking, there are a lot of artists right now who will say I am a rapper, and yes, they feel like they do hip hop, but I don't necessarily agree. Do you agree? What's your opinion when it comes to like mumble rap? And a lot of these artists, when they come out, half of them aren't storytellers, and if they are storytellers, they're not good at it. And then the other half, they're telling stories. Do you feel like they're telling stories that are made up, or do you feel like they're telling the truth? While somebody like you were telling the truth, but it was a little too much information, right? It was a little too candid, it was a little too vivid, so you had to find a way to scale back and redeliver the message. Do you feel like they are appropriately delivering the message, or do you feel like they're telling too much, or do you feel like they're just playing into this facade of what street life really is?
Well, many of them is going to play into the facade. Okay. Many of them feel, you had a fight, you sold drugs for a day. They think that is street life.
Okay.
And, some of them try to jump into that world just so they can have the something to say or be like, yeah, I'm from the mud, I got it, whatever, I did it. Yeah, we all from the hood. So that, that part, mumble rap has died years ago and people don't understand that. If you listen, it's not the same. There are artists that are telling stories and being reflective, but you got to really listen to them. They have like a genre called like emo rap where they're just really, some of it is really depressing. And I can see and pay attention that, they're starting to realize that you do need some form of emceeing because, as a rapper, rap artist, or hip hop artist, when you do these interviews, they're going to ask you to rap. And sometimes the point is people want to hear you talk slick and how good your style is. That is a part of the culture. It's called ego tripping. So you need to learn this. No matter how many songs you make, you still need to have that verse and that bullet in the chamber. So when you do these interviews and they be like, oh, we're going to drop this beat and we want to hear you talk your talk over it. So I'm very happy for them to see that, in the beginning, they didn't understand. And they used to constantly say, oh, your older guys need to get over it. You don't need to spit what they would call a cold 16. Now I'm starting to see them do it. And, they want to express and they getting into it. I don't think, that I would just say they're growing because, some of their similes and metaphors ain't great. You know what I'm saying? Especially with that, but they're trying. Okay. And they're trying to talk slick. And I appreciate that. Okay. You know what I'm saying? That they're starting to mesh. They're starting to listen. And, on both sides, what they would call the, older guys are starting to listen to the young guys. And, if you can listen to some of them and, and they're doing their thing. And that's all basically that's how I feel about it. And yeah, in the beginning, yes, they didn't even want to be called rappers. They would be called artists. And it was, I noticed a lot of it is about energy. It wasn't about the words. It was just, a lot of people want to just jump around and get that energy off their chest. It was like a new version of mosh pit for Black people, but without the elbows and all that other stuff. It's just, jump around and just get that energy up off you and be lit, as they say.
Okay. All right. I definitely can feel that. All right. So when you reframed your message, was it specifically about the tact or delivery as well? And when I say delivery, like I'm talking about as a spoken word artist, when I deliver poems, they're different. Poems get different delivery, right? There's some that are softer spoken. There's some that are harsher, more in your face, more direct. There's some that are sped up. There's some that are slowed down. Has your delivery changed at all, or it's just the packaging of the message that you've shifted?
It's a little both. Okay. I basically, I just want to like touch on, instead of just ego tripping, I'll just like think about a topic, listen to the beat, let the topic pretty much tell me, what the beat to tell me what to talk about, and think about a way to express it. And there's so many things that you can express it. I'm working on a song called Certified. And, I feel I'm certified in many different things. I'm certified to be your best friend. I'm certified to fight with you if we need to fight. I'm certified to be a good father. I'm certified to do street things. I'm certified, you know what I'm saying? It's, just that word itself, the main topic. And I kind of, to think about it, it's almost like the same thing. I'm learning it's the same thing as when you writing series, episode, short, movie, whatever. It's pretty much the same thing. So it's just like, let me talk about these topics because I know I see things a little different. So let me show you the way I look at it and my perspective. So it changed in that way.
Okay.
And I'm digging it. I love it. I love it now. Like I truly love it. Like it's becoming more comfortable. I'm becoming more comfortable with doing it.
Okay. Was there a time when you were feeling uncomfortable? Or was there ever a time when you
I
felt like
mean,
you were starting to lose your passion for it?
I never lost my passion. It's just that I felt the things I was saying, people not understanding.
Okay.
I think at one point I was really going too far metaphorically. I learned I was learning a lot of stuff in jail, a lot of symbolisms, and I was gone. I'm not gonna lie, I know I was gone. And I was just saying things I know people wouldn't understand. It was dope to me because I know what it meant. So I would say things like two snakes on the wand in the squared circle, water can hurt you, but fire must stand vertical.
Mm,
No one is going to get that.
right.
No one is going to understand it. To me, I'm like, whoa, that is incredible. So the two snakes on the wand is the healing sign, what you would see in hospitals. And the squared circle is earth. Because if you take a square, four edges, 90 degrees, 360. You know what I'm saying? We need to heal the earth. Water was a symbolism. I forgot what culture for women. Women can hurt you. Water can hurt you. And all, if you look at it on a first level, yeah, liquid really can hurt you if you hit it wrong. But fire means man. And I believe in the same culture. Fire is man. Fire must stand vertical. Fire flames burn upwards anyway. So, it's like we need to heal the earth. Be careful because, a certain woman can hurt you, but us as men need to stand up and be strong. That's what those sentences meant. And I know it was too far. And if I would have rhymed like that all the time, no one, they would have been like, push him on the ground and get him out of here. Because no one knows what the fuck is. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. So basically, if you would have continued like that, the only people who would have really been able to bang with you heavily would have been Cannabis and like Keith Murray. And that would have been the end of it. But interestingly, though, if you weren't putting that on wax and if you were solely writing that and you released those rhymes in a book, I'm sure that you would be lauded for the way that you wrote it, because that reminds me of some of the, like when I was learning poetry in my youth, there were some complex themes that we had to take them apart, and there was always an expected place where we were supposed to arrive. Like this is the theme that you were supposed to get. And a lot of the times I didn't derive what I was supposed to. And I'm like, I don't understand. My teacher doesn't like me because I don't know why it is that I'm supposed to figure out, like, why was I supposed to get what you got? Like, I didn't get that out of it. I got something different. But that's the beauty of when you're doing something that's interpretive. People are not always going to get the same thing, but I still think that there's a place even for that. Maybe not for your street audience per se, but I definitely would put some of that on wax and then release it to like a Harvard crowd. I would.
Yeah, I have one called The Unexplained.
Okay.
And I stopped saying that a long ago because people used to look at me. And I used to break it down. It was like I don't know whether it's a rhyme poetry thing, but it was like all in 3 levels. It was like a triple entendre. And it was, I loved it. I loved it as a writer. I used to be like I am the dopest ever, and you people wouldn't understand it. So I learned after a while, I need to start breaking this down often.
Okay.
Because let me see how much I can remember. I was raised off hardcore and no remorse. I was brought here through portholes with half a soul. My energy is explained as an unknown carbon dioxide. I sneeze pollution and bleed genocide. I've since blind the average. Wine is mathematics. Iron jackets. I'm in between deadly brackets. Clash with titanic animal instinct. Manic explosive. I shouldn't be exposed to the human eye. Larceny, Star Trek morals is organized but uncaptured. It walked with a breed called Breeze. In this age of Sagittarius, I've saved more than Christians. My poetry is known as genetic ginseng. I mean, I don't want to go, it's super long, but I used to break that down. I love that damn thing, but no one got it. So
You
I had to break
definitely
it.
could spit that at an open mic where there's a lot of spoken word artists. They would appreciate that.
Yeah, but they wouldn't get it because, I was raised off hardcore and no remorse. That's the ghetto. I was brought here through portholes with half a soul. It's my pop's penis.
Okay.
My energy is explained as an unknown carbon dioxide. People don't know at nighttime we actually breathe in carbon dioxide.
Okay.
And everything switches.
Okay.
I sneeze pollution and bleed genocide. It's like the chemicals are from what we eat. When you sneeze, you put that in the air. And, if I actually cut myself, I cut another Black person. So it's genocide.
Okay.
I've since blind the average. Average people cannot understand me.
Okay.
Wine is mathematics. I drink math. Iron jackets, bulletproof vests. I'm in between deadly brackets, which is life. Because there's, we're in between life and death. So it's life. I've clashed with Titanic, my iceberg.
Okay.
Animal instinct. I'm manic explosive. I shouldn't be exposed to the human eye, which is the sun. You cannot look the sun straight in the eye. Larceny. My Star Trek moral was organized. Star Trek, they're supposed to be going to places that they never gone before.
Right.
That is my moral.
Okay.
To go places I've never gone before. Okay. It's organized though, but uncaptured because it walks with a breed called Breeze. You cannot capture the wind no matter how much you do. In this age of Sagittarius, because before I studied it up, it was like thing at this time, the dawning age of Aquarius, I felt the Sagittarius is supposed to be the war or whatever. In the age of Sagittarius, I've saved more than Christians. My poetry is known as genetic ginseng. Sting of a scorpion. I am a Scorpio. I reflect Black America's laws with a Black Hawk. Oh, I don't even think I said that far.
You didn't. Yeah. You didn't. Nonetheless, I would, if you were asking my opinion, which you're not.
Shut it up out there. I'm on that.
If you were asking my opinion, which you're not, I would definitely say compile those writings into a book. You'd be surprised, even if they misinterpreted, you'd be surprised how far that would go in the literary community of people who would purchase it. They would take it apart. They would study it because there's so much interwoven in it. Don't underestimate that. There's a community that, for the most part, a lot of the time we try to appeal to the community with which we're most familiar, and we try to appeal to the community with whom or with which we can relate best. However, just because we can relate to this community the best, or they're the community that we're most comfortable around, doesn't mean that they're going to get everything, but it also doesn't mean that there's no community that understands or understands what it is that we have to offer. Sometimes we have to bet on what we have to offer being able to reach other people. And I feel like for you in particular, you have so many things and you're appealing to this one community, right? But you could go so much further by appealing to other audiences who maybe they would not respond to you, would not be able to relate to the lyrical stylings as a rap artist, as a performing artist of ILLA GHEE. However, the writing they would be able to relate to, and like I could hear some of my teachers right now. I can hear them in the back of my mind, like, oh, this was literary prose. This was amazing. And I feel like you're robbing yourself by not putting it out there. You don't necessarily have to shop it to the community of which you're a part. You just need to shop it. But you didn't ask me for that, so you can do with that information what you choose.
Yes, I've always respected Jules. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do not want to belabor the time. I want, with respect to reframing messages, with respect to finding your voice, finding comfort in your voice, what would be 3 takeaways that you would have if there was nothing else that the audience could walk away with? Give me 3 things that you would want them to leave with.
Actually listen and digest it. Take your time to digest. Don't treat it like microwave food. Act like it's a home cooked meal that you listen to. Look at me more. I know a lot more than people think.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually, I don't know, just, respect that I can do many things. Don't pigeonhole me.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the 3.
Okay. I'm here trying to write my 3 down so I don't forget. I would say the message has value in all of its forms. And even if the message requires reframing, don't be afraid to share it. I would say, for you personally and for myself as well, stop assuming the audience. With respect to what you just said about, with respect to the last piece that you just shared, too often we try to decide the audience and we then limit ourselves because we're trying to decide what our audience can process instead of releasing it and allowing the body of work to be found by the audience that can indeed process it. So don't limit yourself in what you're releasing because your immediate audience can't resonate with it. That doesn't mean that there's no audience for it. It just means that this group of people don't necessarily find their attachment to it. One last thing. Finding your voice and finding your place of comfort to deliver your message might not be an overnight thing. It may take weeks, it may take months, it may take years, but continue to construct your messages until you are able to find the most comfortable place. Often we get hung up at the juxtaposition, right? For you, it was you were telling too much of the streets. For someone else, right, to make it more relatable to the general audience, for someone else, it might not be that you're telling too much for the streets, but you're telling too much of your family's business. And you feel like, well, how do I tell this story without being condemned or ostracized or thrown away by the family, because now they feel exposed and they feel like I tried to paint them like some type of monster when all I was trying to do was tell my story and express how I felt. Living in that right there is a challenging space. experience that often because of the type of writer that I am, the type of speaker that I am. Everything has a story, and I don't want to overexpose anyone, but at the same time, there are parts that I have to tell that might not make you see yourself or might not make others see you in the most favorable light, but it doesn't mean that the story doesn't need to be told just because you're trying to stave off embarrassment. The story still needs to be told. So I think that those would be my 3. Yeah. Where can people find you if they want to link with you, if they want to book you, if they want to see you perform somewhere, if they want to purchase a New York Minute shirt, if they want to purchase any of your bodies of work? How do people find you? Where do they find you? Where can they buy from you? This is your time for your shameless plugs.
Well, starting this shameless plug, you can pretty much catch everything and do everything on my website, illagee.net.
Okay.
ILLAGHEE.net. You can catch up, separately. I have ILLA GHEE TV on YouTube. You can go subscribe. My apparel, I have an online apparel store called illaapparel.net, where hip hop meets comfort. This is where you're comfortable. We have everything. We have leggings, we have sneakers, we have hats, we have t-shirts, hoodies. We got panties, we got bikinis, we got everything there. All the stuff is on there. ILLA GHEE 2K on Instagram, just regular ILLA GHEE on Facebook. Yeah, I think it's, even if you still use Twitter, ILLA GHEE 2K on Twitter. So that is everything.
Okay. All right. GHEE.
GHEE.
That's your name, or like that's like, where did you come up with G and spelled that way?
My real name is starts with a G.
Okay. All right.
So, and I learned in art school, if I just spelled a GEE in art school, 8 letters look better than 7. So I added an H. And it turns out G is actually ghee, which stands for liquid butter. So really, my rap name is Sick Liquid Butter.
Okay. I'm going to always find somebody for y'all passionates. I'm going to always find somebody that's going to drop something on you that's going to make you be like, oh. So I wanted to make sure that we covered that. That's really super dope. I appreciate you taking this time and coming on with me and talking to my audience and talking to me. I'm going to pull up on your podcast soon.
Yes, do so.
I'm going to definitely do that.
Yes, it's a lot of things we talk about. And I truly appreciate you asking me to be on here. You are the homie. And, if I never told you, I love you.
You know I love you back. You know I do. You know I do. We say it publicly over here, okay?
Yeah.
So that's that. Passionates, go forth. Be great. Be filled with bliss. Be armed and empowered with knowledge. Construct your message. In time, you'll find your voice and the voice in which you should deliver your message, or you'll feel most comfortable delivering your message, but know that your message still has value, irrespective to who might not be able to receive it. In all things, be passionate. I'll see you later.